Hello. Hi. We had some minor Greg difficulties, and yes, I am a tiny bit late because of physical therapy. Hi, Crazy Pants. Also, hello, Team Worm. I am indeed alive. All right, let's make sure the camera it's like mostly on me. It's good enough. All right, what's my hair doing? Yeah, no, it can stay. That's fine. Okay. So what the fuck are we doing? We're gonna continue where we left off. We're designing the opening region. It's a temperate forest. It's inspired by nature, wind, and water. Currently, the project working title is Tian's Forest of Songs. Tian is the main god. The Forest of Song implies it's a forest with wind things that make cool noises. It's a work in progress. Definitely gonna find a better name.
Hello.
Officially, hello to you, Teamworm. Okay, so last time we went through like initial conflicts that we want to explore. The player is going to, in one of many stereotypical RPG game fashions, just like wash up on the beach, and they will be taken in by some people who are rebuilding a school, and the player will be introduced to some minimal conflicts that aren't really going anywhere yet. Some people think they're rebuilding the school too soon because there's still some crazy weather around. There's also some like secret shit being hidden in the school, underneath the school, around the school. Something's going on that explains why some people are pushing to rebuild the school earlier. It's because they need to protect the thing that's beneath the school. And then also the region that the game takes place in has a sort of warrior training to teach you to be a like warrior that's in touch with the spirit world, which means you can come back to life and also bond with powerful magical beasts called symbiotes. And some people think they should stop doing that because it's an age of peace. We don't need to train warriors. It's an age of peace. But separate from that, the player will become a spirit warrior. We need a fun name. We had some ideas for names. Oh, my thing's blocking it. Let's go. We're done with that magic thing, but I think maybe being no, I'll stay on the right. The right seems better. Okay, but that means I should just go like that. Okay. So initially, the player is kind of introduced to all these conflicts, but they're not really demanding the player's attention. For a while, they're just kind of like background info. It'd be like if you were playing Pokemon and in the first few cities, you heard some hubbub about Team Rocket, but you hadn't actually run into them yet. They're just kind of background info. And then we also want some kind of regional conflict that the player can solve now or later. Probably something to do with like nature being out of balance. Generally is what's going to be happening. The player is going to be restoring harmony and balance to the natural world. And then I think I also want a reason for the player to visit the temple. And I could just have the regional conflict lead into the temple conflict. The structure of the game is that there are all sorts of puzzles. There are puzzles that are just out in the open world that are kind of self-contained. There are puzzles out in the open world that require tools that the player will earn in Metroidvania style as they go on. So some of those puzzles won't be solvable at the beginning of the game, but the player will see them. But then there will also be shrines and temples. Shrines are like shrines in Breath of the Wild. They're like a separate area you go into with a set of self-contained puzzles that are like, they follow some kind of theme. Typically to get you to understand something about the world, something about how a tool works, so that you can go about solving more difficult puzzles, which will be contained in the temples. The temple is like a temple from most Zelda games. Large, many self-contained puzzles that all kind of twist in and out of each other. Solving each puzzle gives you access to new things, and then you kind of maze your way through the temple, find your way to a boss, defeat the boss, and then something good happens. Like you kicked out some kind of gross creature that was polluting the water. So I think what I might do is one of these will be the region conflict, and one of these will be the temple conflict. And so then that way the player is encouraged to go into the temple beyond just like, ooh, what's this strange building that I had to solve a puzzle to get access to? I want them to actually be pushed toward doing it if they have a sense of the story. I was watching some stuff about video game writing, and a person who is a successful video game writer, or so they claimed. I don't know. I can't verify that they worked on the games they worked on. I probably could. I'm not going to. They were like, you have to accept that, like, depending on the game, like up to like 2/3 of your players just don't care. Like, they just don't care. You're stuck on the name, dude. Me too. But like, I can't just sit here for like 30 minutes and fix this. I know. It's a bad name. It's bad. What about Tian's Singing Grove? Okay, that's cute. Okay. And maybe just like the Singing Grove could work. That's fun. That's much better than the Forest of Songs. Great. Maybe how large is a grove? Like, I know a grove is like a section of trees. Like, how big? So we want this to be like a section of a forest, right? A small wood. We could also lean into the fact that it is Korean and Japanese inspired. And name it like, I don't know, what's Japanese for forest? Mori? Mori, right. They do a soft R. That could be fun. Sure, why not? Grove is a little too small. Okay, so that's the Crazy Pants. Thank you. That is an at least acceptable name. It's not like 10 out of 10 top tier, but I wouldn't wake up in the middle of the night thinking about how bad the name is now if I release the game. Whereas Tian Singing Forest would be like Forest of Song. What was it? Tian's Forest of Songs. Yeah, it's so bad. Oh my god, kill me. Tian's was good though. Don't lose the personality. All right, okay. All right. On the off chance somebody is listening to this and they haven't been watching the other things, Tian is the god of nature and wind. Really just a demigod, but like the people in this world don't really differentiate between the two. They don't really understand that like Tian's really just a normal person that became very powerful. And then like constructed a planet with a few other demigods out of broken pieces of other planets. You know, they seem pretty powerful. They seem godlike, but they could be killed. They're fallible. But this region, the entire region the game takes place in, I guess really, okay, the game takes place in a nation that's made up of many regions. There we go. The entire nation has a very close bond with the demigods because the demigods lived here before they disappeared and maybe died. Okay, so back to conflicts. So we also have a few. These are like plot points that are going to become important in the wider the wider game plot. And I didn't finish doing those. So first of all, I need the player to know about the like magical storms. Probably we'll call them mana storms. That's kind of cool. Large sections of this nation were uninhabitable for long periods of time. The gods were around, things were great, some things happened, the gods disappeared, and also weather kind of went out of control. They're related, but maybe not the way that the citizens of the nation might think they are. And so that's another thing to note for sure. Absence of the gods. And the relation to the mana storms. It's another thing we need to hint at. There are people who think that the gods should just be abandoned. We should stop worshiping them. They're clearly gone. They used to actually help. You could meet them. You could talk to them. You could ask them for help. They could bless you with rain, and then it would rain after a drought. Like they could actually do things. Now they're gone. Their presence is missed by people. And a lot of them feel like, well, maybe we were abandoned. Maybe we shouldn't worship them anymore. And then there are other people who are like, well, like they're still around, you know, like they are, but they don't have power. So then like they need to be brought back to life, which the player will be able to do if they want. So there are some people who are like, we shouldn't worship them anymore. They don't do anything for us anymore. And there are other people who are like, well, it's kind of like the value of the ritual. You know, you should still worship. Like, there's all sorts of people who worship in this world, and like there's no fucking gods on Earth, around Earth, in Earth. There's no such thing, but just people do it anyway. So why not here too? Why not on Nair? Okay, so there is also a spirit world. If you die while you are in this nation, you are not gone forever. Your consciousness is collected. I was going to say trapped. Trapped is probably not a good term. People are there willingly. They like it. It's just like a chill place where everybody kind of commingles. Everybody's spirit just kind of commingles together. The spirit world can be contacted by people in the mortal world. So like, you know, your grandma's dead. You could every once in a while be like, hey, grandma, you doing all right? And she'll be like, yeah, I'm doing good. It's nice to see you. And you'd be like, cool. And then also that does provide value. Like you could talk to people about the past, like generals and shit. Like what happened in the war 1,000 years ago? What were the signs that somebody was going to cast some crazy spell a century ago? Talk to the people who were there about it. So you know, there is tactical value to its existence, and then also somebody who becomes a spirit warrior, when they die, they can make their way back to the mortal world through limit. It's limited. You can't just they can't just die over and over, but they are in some respects an immortal warrior, which gives this nation quite a reputation, right? You don't want to go to war with this nation. They're unkillable. And they're crazy dedicated to war. You don't want to do that. Another reason you don't want to do it is that they have a copious amount of glass, which are crystals used for magic, fuel. There's crystals used for magic. It's fuel. You can also use internal fuel, but outside nations are running out of their resources, their sources of glass, and like entire industries are reliant on it. So people are really eyeing this nation, currently called the Endless Isles. But much like the Forest of Songs, I need an actual name for that too. And then let's see what the fuck else. There are also not just nations that want to come in, just kind of here. Foreign military wants to come in, but also scientists want to come to the Endless Isles to study glass because there's lots of glass, and they think like, hey, maybe we could make some synthetic glass. Maybe we could make make our own, and then our entire economy doesn't have to fucking implode and everybody starve maybe. And then I do also want to mention in the conflicts, again, these are just things the player's going to hear about. Like they're going to be walking around and just people will be having conversations about this stuff. Maybe like some kind of like magic radio. You'll hear little news announcements about things related to this. Nations without glass are thriving, right? Because there are some places that did not have enough glass to make their society built around it, fuel wise. So then they use just like, I don't know, like petroleum. They probably have compressed plants that turned into petroleum too, right? The physics is mostly the same as Earth. And they're thriving because they're not running out of their material, and everybody's coming to them now. That they're like, shit, dude, we don't have glass to run our industry equipment. Our farms have crops that need to be picked by machine. How can you help us? And these nations are like, dude, we just here, take this thing, pay us for it. It runs on gasoline, and we have lots of gasoline, so we'll sell you gasoline. So like good for them. Good for them. And also they're cool because like they don't want to come steal the Endless Isles glass because they don't fucking need it. It's fine. And you know what? It's not that they don't have glass. They have limited glass, right? Like magic still exists there. It's just much rarer and used for the very important things. If you live somewhere where glass is ever present, like people are just fucking wasteful with their use of magic. They use it for fucking everything. Cleaning, cooking, heating, cooling, all the things. Why not? If you have a fuel source, why use it? Why question it? Until it runs out. And then you have a problem. And then we also want to talk about a crime syndicate. Kind of take on Team Rocket, except they're not so incompetent you wonder why they're made to be a threat in the game you're playing as a kid. And they are smuggling glass out of the country, which is a no-no. The Endless Isles they do export glass, but they also demand import of like expended glass because the people in the Endless Isles know how to like recharge it. So they're very like, we will sell you some amount of glass, but also you need to give us back a thing that we can recharge and turn into more glass. And then what the rising conflict, the most notable conflict is going to be around foreign military forces and then also the up here, people disagreeing about spirit warrior training, right? There's like a kind of like, there's an effort going on to weaken the nation of the Endless Isles and to overcome them because some people. So it's a gas. Well, no. It's like, oh my god, glass as a service. Oh my god. Okay, all right. It's like a trade-in. It's a trade-in thing. They're focused on sustainability.
Wow.
Great joke, Crazy Pants. Anyway, they're focused on sustainability, right? So they don't the Endless Isles is relatively not industrialized because the nations that are consuming glass are destroying it. They're using it in machines or turning it into like a liquid fuel, which is potent, but is also it's not renewable. It destroys the actual thing. Whereas in the Endless Isles, they are the things they use it for are much less industrialized. Things are more of like a tribal society or like a medieval society. Very little mechanized things going on, but still through the use of magic, life is pretty good. There's a lot of the toil is reduced, but the way that they use glass because of that is much slower and reliable, and they deplete crystals instead of destroying them outright. And then that means they can recharge them over time. My vision is like, okay, you have like a depleted fire crystal, go stick it in the fire and it will slowly recharge, or stick it in some lava, come back in 10 years, pull it out of the lava, and like, boom, you got yourself a recharged crystal. It just like naturally absorbed the elemental energies just over a long period of time. So anyway, this difference in the way that they use things is leading to conflict, because foreign nations are like, you got glass, give me glass, we'll pay for glass. And they're like, no, but like you need to give us like used up glass so we can recharge it. Like, that's the way this shit works. We're not just gonna let you use up all of our glass for any price. And they don't like that. So like kind of like Russia style, like the people who are trying to like undermine the spirit warrior training, they're probably being like paid or motivated by a foreign party to weaken the nation of the Endless Isles. And then as the game goes on, this will be a conflict that is ever increasing, right? Like, the player is slowly going to interface with foreign militaries. Some of whom are like respectful and are like, okay, like, you don't want us to take stuff, like, fine, like, please teach us how to use glass so that we can like trade with you and not fucking not like have our entire economy fall apart. And so there'll be room there for some like political intrigue. Maybe if the player does the right things, they can convince one military group to help the player and the Endless Isles out against some of the more shitbag military groups that are probably just going to be like, we're just going to take glass. But then Game of Thrones style, of course, I want there to be something like the White Walkers, some kind of conflict that is like, oh, that's the real problem. Like, that's the actual problem. The rest of the problems are like, you humans, sentient creatures, you made that up. Like, you're arguing over like who should control things, your resources and shit. Well, like, really, you could all get along and make sure there's enough for everybody. But like, there's a real problem coming, and it's going to just like destroy all of you. It doesn't give a fuck about reason. You can't convince it to not destroy all of you. And so currently we're just like, we're gonna just call it like a malignant force. The current idea that I have in my head is that Nair is formed from multiple planets that were destroyed. Those planets were destroyed by a powerful spacefaring civilization. In the game, they probably won't be referred to as spacefaring. It'll be more thought of as like realms. But they travel in spaceships. Like, they travel through portals in space. They do space stuff. And perhaps as scientists study them more, they'll start using the proper terminology. But for now, it's kind of like medieval technology level. So the explanation is that they like can travel between realms. They're just like very powerful, and they just need, like, sometimes they need a bunch of carbon, or sometimes they need a bunch of iron. And if they're traveling near your planet and your planet has a bunch of that stuff, they're just going to take it, and they don't care if your planet gets destroyed. And probably also, like, it's probably like a bonus to them if people lived on that planet and they can destroy it, because like they can't trust you. They can't, like, if you found out about who they were and your species became powerful, like, you could be an enemy, you could be a threat. So it's only smart to get rid of you. So Nair is constructed from the remnants of those planets, but then also there are like strange eldritch creatures that follow through space, that follow this weird spacefaring civilization, kind of like devouring the pieces of planets left behind by this the big bad evil guy. Although I guess it's more of a group. It's like a big bad evil group. And so the big bad evil group is kind of aware that there's these weird eldritch forces following them. It's like eating the table scraps left over. They don't really care. They kind of just ignore it. But that one of those things will be a like strange malignant force that is kind of just like a cancer just growing over the planet, trying to like consume and convert everything into itself. So we'll say a malignant force slowly growing over the planet, like a cancer. And so this will be a kind of existential threat that, like, you'll kind of be able to tell that, like, oh, that's the actual problem. Like, if you read Game of Thrones, nope, if you read A Song of Fire and Ice or you watch Game of Thrones, you kind of get the idea early on, like, oh, the crazy zombies in the north are like they're like actually a problem. And like nobody cares about them, but like they're becoming more and more of a problem. And every time you check back in with them, it's like, yep, they're more of a problem. They're gonna keep getting bigger and bigger of a problem. Yep. So that would be the situation with this strange malignant force. Still need a cool name for it. Durg in chat had suggested the Shatter, which is kind of a fun name. I don't know if that would be. We'd have to make it fit that ideology. It would be interesting if that is how it fought. If it like shattered you, turns you into like solid crystal and breaks you or something. I don't know. So yeah, that will be the actual problem. That like maybe all of the military forces realize there's a serious problem, or you have to like you summarily defeat one of them. And then the rest of them are like, okay, let's go deal with this like actual problem. And then you like just barely are able to deal with the actual problem. And all the while you as the player are also just trying to, you're just trying to become a spirit warrior. You know, you're just trying to learn about the land and become close to it, bond with the creatures, become a powerful warrior. You know, you just like, it's like getting 8 badges in Pokemon, you know? You're just trying to do that, but then like all this other shit is just kind of in your way. And I suppose, because I want there to be multiple paths through the game, I suppose the player could just honestly ignore all of this. It would be more difficult. I want the player to be able to obtain tools for traversal, like a typical Metroidvania. You know, there's like a wall that's blocked. There's a pile of rubble, and then you get like a missile launcher that could blow up the pile of rubble. Cool. Okay, now you can get past piles of rubble. Each tool like that, I want the player to be able to obtain it in multiple places, so that way they don't just have to go to one specific spot. There will be at least 2, often 3 ways to either obtain the tool or potentially to sidestep the need for it. I want someone to beat the game like normal, and then have somebody tell them on Reddit, like, dude, you don't even need to get cut, man. You could have beaten Pokemon without ever getting cut, and have them be like, what? How would I do that? You know, like back ways into places or alternative tools. Maybe a person that would help you. Like, instead of getting the missile launcher to blow up the rubble, maybe there's somebody who's like, oh yeah, I have some extra dynamite, dude. I'll go blow that thing up for you if you do this extra thing for me. And so then that way the player can engage with the things they want, right? If they don't want to visit gyms, they don't want to become a spirit warrior, they don't have to. If they don't want to like fight the foreign military, they don't have to. If they don't fucking care about this weird malignant force, if they're like, I'm just here to become a spirit warrior, fine. That's fine. That's fine. Smash? Smash what? Hey, Dirk. Okay, so I think there was one last thing. There's one last thing. So an important thing to note about the Endless Isles is that they are endless in a strange way. There's like some Bermuda Triangle, like space-time bullshit going on, where it seems like like the islands change, where like islands disappear and come back, and like maybe they're from different timelines, maybe they're from different like a parallel universe, like who fucking knows. But it leads to there being lots of space that is kind of unguarded. There's just too much space for the Endless Isle nation to actually monitor, because it's all nonsense shit that's winking in and out of existence. And so the foreign military forces are going to exploit that, but so too are foreign wizards, who just want to learn. Right, like you're a wizard, you want to learn about like glass and how to make powerful spells. Well, you should probably go to the place where there's lots of glass, and that would be the Endless Isles. So then we're gonna say there's another conflict that the player will hear about and eventually deal with. Is foreign wizards coming to the Endless Isles to study and use glass. And you know there'll be varying levels of evil. Some of them might be actually evil. Some of them are just like dedicated to studying. You know, they're like, some of them are reasonable. Some of them suck. Visit the gym and become a smelly warrior. Now, it's not smelly. It's spirit. I guess you would become smelly until you showered, but you know. Ooh, you made meatballs. Nice. It's meatballs meant for a meeting. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Okay. Don't eat meatballs in a meeting. That's not meeting food, Derg. It actually, is anything meeting food? If I had a meeting and somebody was just like eating meatballs, I would be like, I probably wouldn't say anything, but I would be like, what? Why? Fucking eat after the meeting. Okay, donuts are kind of a meeting food. All right. You'll share. Oh my god. Okay, that's kind of sweet. Like somebody showing up to a meeting and being like, I brought meatballs. You guys want some meatballs? Oh shit. I would think they're weird, but like if they looked good, I would probably try one. Holy shit. All right. Okay. Back to the quests. So we have the conflicts, right? And we don't want to overload the player with information at the beginning of the game. So a lot of the conflicts are going to be essentially irrelevant right now, right? Oh, one more. There we go. These we'll have to slowly expose the player to in their first few hours playing the game. Can you just collect pokes? Yes, definitely. That will absolutely be something that you can do. You can just ignore all of the quests. Except maybe the tutorial. No, there will definitely be a way for the player to just be like, I don't want to do the tutorial and skip it. And then I'll have somebody in the game who's like, okay, but like if you ever need help, just come talk to me. And then they can restart the tutorial just in case like they accidentally press the buttons to skip the tutorial. Do we use some resources to catch them? Yes. My current conception is a Pokeball replacement called a Dreamstone. And the idea is that you use it to bond with the symbiote. Like you share your dreams with it and it shares its dreams with you, and you kind of you try to show that your dreams match with their dreams, and the stronger you are, the easier it will be to essentially capture them. But really what you're doing is you're earning their respect. And I guess really it's like there's lots of things that determine how hard it is to capture them. Like you can weaken them in combat. How powerful are you as a trainer compared to them? And then also some of them will just have things they want you to do for them. There will be some creatures that like, if they're in trouble and you help them, or if you do something that they like, then they'll be like, oh, okay, you know what? I already kind of respect you. You can convince me to join you pretty easily. It sounds like an anime, a duel of wills. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But it's not like you're not like dominating them. You're not like making them your slave. You are showing them like, dude, you like to fight? Me too. Let's like work together and become badass fighting people, and go like either save the world or become the strongest spirit warrior in the land. Let's go beat the Elite Four. I need a fun alternate name for the Elite Four. We'll shop ideas at some point. That can be like way far ahead. Although, you know what? That's probably a good thing to hint at, right? That would like it. How early on do you learn about the Elite Four in Pokemon? I think when you fight your rival for the second time, right? You get your first Pokemon, you fight your rival, you go up to Viridian, you come back to Professor Oak to deliver a thing, you get your Pokedex, and then you go back to Viridian, and then you can fight your rival over to the west. And after you beat him, he complains. He's like, man, I tried to go to the Pokemon League, but like they won't even let me in there because I don't have badges. Like, fucking dumbass Gary Blue, whatever his name. He thinks he can like go with his level like 6 Charmander and like a level 5 Pidgeotto and beat the like level 50 plus Elite Four. Like, what are you doing, dude? Meta Archons. Ooh, I think maybe just Archon. We could just use Archon. Ooh, Divine Champion is interesting. Okay, so it's spiritual, but not necessarily religious. I feel like Divine is maybe too religious. We could maybe say that the player becomes the spirit champion. Because it's the Elite Four and the League champion, right? That's who you actually face. If you went in thinking you were going to fight 4 people, actually you're wrong. You fight 4 people and then you fight the League champion. So it could just be like Spirit Archons and then you become a Spirit champion. That could work. Yeah, maybe. I think I want something other than spirit. I like the term eternal. An eternal Archon sounds cool. And again, the part of the idea is that they could come back to life. So they definitely like the branding eternal. They're not actually immortal. They will eventually age and die. But the idea that they can come back to life is it's good PR, you know? Like, people don't want to fuck with you if they think you can just come back to life. And Eternal Archons sounds cool. Eternal Champion, meh. And then the even if you're not a champion, when you go to the dojos and you collect the badges, then you would become some term, either like a keeper or a warden or an ardent. I'm kind of leaning toward warden or keeper. Like ardent sounds very cool, but keeper and warden I think more describe the idea, which is that you are like a protector of the spirit world. And so even if you do not make it to champion, you are still respected as a keeper or a warden. Does eternal warden sound cool? Spirit warden sounds cool. Spirit keeper sounds cool too. All right. Yeah, it's fine. We'll figure it out later. It's all good. Google warden synonyms. All right. I feel like I have at some point. Superintendent, supervisor, steward, janitor. Oh my God. Of course we get guardian. I would absolutely use guardian if I didn't play Destiny so much. It would feel way too stolen. Sentinel's kind of cool. Rexy. What the fuck? That's weird. Yeah. The first link is nice. The Merriam-Webster one. God, 31 similar words. Watchdog. Hack. Slang. Huh. Huh. Yes, to me, Sentinel has too much of a feeling of like you're out on your own. You're like watching what's going on. You're like a watchman rather than a guardian. It's like you protect by collecting information, not necessarily by fighting. Now that's not necessarily fully true, but yeah, I think we've got good options. I think attaching a good word to the beginning of one of these will work. Could just end up being something like Soul Keeper or Soul Warden, since like the spirit world stores the souls of the dead. Sounds kind of cool. I don't know. All right, we'll keep going. Okay, so then as far as the quests go, the idea is going to be that we give players not very little guidance, but we want to not overwhelm them. So definitely giving the player a quest to become a spirit warrior makes sense. Maybe the person who teaches you combat will be like, oh wow, like you seem like you got this. A lot of people visit this country to become spirit warriors. You should consider doing that while you're here. It's a good way to become in touch with the world and feel like you're doing something important. Self-improvement, that kind of thing. And then also, conveniently, it leads you all around through all the regions of the nation. So, like, that's nice. You get to see everything if you become a spirit warrior. And the player is a scribe, which means they have like a magic book that records information for them, which is how the player has like when you pause the game and you look at your inventory or your party information or information about like the codex, so like what enemies are weak to. All of that is held within this magic book that you just woke up with it. Who knows why it's here? If somebody tries to take it from you, like boom, it just reappears in your hand when you want it. A magic book, very convenient plot device. People recognize that. People see that you have that and they realize like, oh shit, you're a scribe. Wow, we haven't seen a scribe for a long time. Generally, scribes want to, they're here for a reason. They're here to collect information, to learn things. And so yeah, let's maybe note that. Maybe the like combat tutorial. I cannot spell. Tutorial. Wow. It's like your body, you just wake up with it. Yeah, I guess so. Every other day. Now hold on. I hope you wake up with it every day. What are you doing the days you don't wake up with your body? Is that horrifying or is it cool? Shit. What a statement. Okay, we're gonna say the combat tutorial person suggests you become a spirit warrior. We'll say why. Scribes. Let's see. How do we say this? It's like, let's say like everyone knows scribes are here for a reason. And becoming a spirit warrior will allow the scribe to travel all across the nation on a journey of self-improvement and adventure. All right. So that'll be the quest giver's reasoning, right? He's going to be like, no, you probably want to do this. This is probably a good idea. Also, you'll get some sweet loot. Every dojo guy you beat is going to give you some sweet loot. Sometimes you sleep bad so you don't get in bed and don't wake up. Okay, all right. That is unfortunate. That it sounded much cooler, honestly. I wasn't thinking about the way that if you didn't sleep every day, then sure. Yeah, every other day every time you sleep, you would wake up with your body. And if you don't sleep every day, then sure, every other day you'd wake up with your body. Fine. All right. Dang. It sounded like you were doing some cool astral projection shit or something. Oh well. As is so often the truth, it's mundane. Even if it sounds fanciful, it ends up being mundane. Okay, so aside from that, that's kind of this is just like a long overarching quest, right? It's not something you're gonna complete anytime soon. And I think to get the player started, we had talked about having just some simple fetch or collection quests. Pokemon starts off with a simple collection quest, and then just like doesn't really do quests very much. That's interesting. So in Pokemon, if you go to buy Pokeballs, the person at the first store is like, hey, go back to where you started the game and deliver this to Professor Oak. So we're going to do something like that. We're going to like have somebody at the school be like, look, we're all really busy with stuff. Like we need supplies. So like, could you just go and let the people in the town know that we need supplies and they can deliver them for us? Thanks. Like just go send them a message. Or maybe we'll have the player actually bring something back. It could be something, a small thing they need quickly. And let's see, I kind of want a way to denote like quests that might be repeatable or simple. And then other quests that you only get one time. Nah, maybe not. Maybe this shouldn't be the kind of game with repeatable quests. I was thinking that like the collecting ore for the blacksmith could be something that scales. Like first they're like, oh, bring me 10 ore. Okay, I'll give you some bonus experience. Then it could be bring me 20. Then it could be like bring me 10 of the like next level. And so then that would let the player know like, oh, there's going to be ore in a new area. Cool. And then motivate them. I think something fun that some games do is the person who's asking for ore. They're just like, I just want to look at it. Like, I don't need to take it from you. I'll just pay you if you bring it to me and let me study it. I just need to like inspect some samples. Okay, great. And then it's essentially the player's like, oh, that's just like a free reward. But it helps let the player know, like, dude, there's ore to collect, and this blacksmith guy, he'll turn it into stuff for you. Opportunities as one-timers. Sure. But it's like, ooh. Okay, so I wouldn't describe these quests as opportunities. They're more like you need to do them if you want to further certain parts of the story, right? But it is interesting to imagine quests that are like an opportunity that you can do or not do, and then they go away. A supply quest might be repeatable since you might be needing supplies periodically. Sure. The reason I want to do this is just to get the player to go to the next area. I want, if somebody's new to games or if somebody is new to RPGs, they might not understand what they're supposed to do. So I want them to kind of be told like, hey, you could go like to the dojos and fucking collect badges and become a powerful warrior. And then I also want someone else to be like, hey, will you go to that town that's nearby and like get some supplies? And then they might also let the player know like, there's also a dojo there you could check out while you're there. Like the dojo master would love to talk to you. It's been a long time since we've all seen a scribe, especially a scribe who has combat potential that might become a spirit warrior. That would interest the dojo master. So yeah, I want to use the few quests to kind of like push the player toward understanding the world. I think I'll revisit the idea of whether or not they should be repeatable. I'm gonna make a note of that. And I think maybe the thing to do, I like the idea of scaling these, like repeat but scale. And maybe we'll put a question mark. Because then that can kind of let the player know, like I said before, like, oh, there's going to be even more new kinds of ore in like new areas. Shit. And I always think it's fun in like MMOs. If you have a quest that the game says is like a little bit hard, but you realize you can do it. And so this might convince the player, like, oh, I could, the alchemist wants this herb that grows to the north in like region 4. And I could just step in and see if I can find any of those, even though there's really strong enemies around. I could kind of avoid them and just grab the plants. Maybe only fight 1 or 2 enemies and barely survive, but get all the plants I need and then get some kind of cool reward ahead of time. Like, it always felt cool in a game. It still feels cool in a game when you feel like you get something earlier than you should have. It feels fun. It feels like you're like, it's special. Like, oh, they didn't think I could do this, but like, yeah, they did. Come on, like the game designers knew, but they just wanted you to have an extra challenge if you chose to take it on right now. And it was nice to do that in WoW because you would get like a big ass chunk of experience for doing a more difficult quest. Okay, maybe outline this a little bit more. We want a few simple fetch/collection quests to maybe to like help the player understand the world. And kind of want to note that this first quest is kind of like, it's like a main quest, right? Like this is gonna take a long time. And then these little things are things you're gonna complete and be done with. Hate that you have to kill the process to reconnect to chat after a network error. Oh, that sucks. It doesn't just automatically reconnect? That's fucking brutal. Twitch has got problems, you know? Okay. Because of Android specifically. All right, I avoid using Twitch on Android. It's not a good experience. The only time I ever use it is when I'm like, I want to lay down, but also I kind of want to listen to a Twitch stream. And that's like 3 times in my life. So I'm not looking at chat in that case. Okay. So the other things that I need to get into is we need quests for every kind of conflict, right? Well, potentially. We should at least consider it. So Heads up, you have 10k channel points. Oh my god. All right. Should choose a... You might use TTS any second now. Let me make sure that we're connected. I think one of the bots, yeah. One of the bots that I use for some reason didn't connect to chat, and I think it's the one that does TTS. So we're gonna restart it just in case. So don't TTS right now, Dirk. I don't want you to miss out on your thing if you spend a bunch of points. I can't just refund you, but that's no fun, you know? And it's annoying. I can't actually test the... Oh my god. Crazy Pants. Okay, well now it's connected. I was restarting it. So I can test whether the speaker bot works.
Test.
I could do that, but I can't. I have to do what Crazy Pants did to actually test it. Oh my god, there's a cooldown on it. The reward is on cooldown. Oh my god. Crazy Pants talking about testes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so it should function. It is now connected to chat properly. So it should function. It should be able to read chat. I have no idea how long the cooldown is. I'll check it in a little bit and test it. Okay, so how could I make a quest? The cooldown is annoying but smart. Yeah, I had no choice. I couldn't fucking deal if somebody spammed it.
Test.
Okay, there we go. Yep. Wonderful. It is good I noticed that. It's always worth checking all of your fucking things before you stream. This is the first time that has ever had a problem. And that's how many times have I streamed? Hundreds? It's the first time it's actually not connected correctly. It's I understand how like safety inspectors screw things up. It's super lame to check to see if something works, and 99.999% of time it works. And so then like you just feel like your job is a waste of time. Every time you do it and it's working fine, you're like, yeah, why am I even fucking here? And then you get lazy, and then the one time you don't fucking check, it doesn't work, and then you're just like, I don't know, a dam bursts and thousands of people die, and you're like, ah, shit. Or obviously in my case, the text-to-speech doesn't work, and it's much less of a problem. But I always imagine extreme versions of scenarios to motivate myself, or to critically think about whether something's okay or not. Yeah, Crazy Pants does have ungodly amounts of channel points, and she can just refund them to herself if she so chooses. So, you know. I don't think she needs to. I need to make something silly for her to spend her points on. Something fun. And probably same with Team Worm. Team Worm's probably like swimming in points as well. Okay, so how would we make a quest about this? A quest about some people thinking like it's too soon to rebuild the school. I don't know if it actually does need to be a quest. It could just be something that's happening in like conversation. But it would be cool if we could come up with some kind of little quest. Like maybe two people have an argument, like the school's new headmaster who's like rebuilding the school. He's the spearhead, the effort behind it. He has an argument with someone and like they leave, but they're walking out into a storm or something. Something like that. I need a booby ghost equivalent. Yeah, I do. I don't have an enormous chat full of people who will just make stuff for me, you know? Durg makes lots of cool stuff for me, but it's not like silly art things for people to redeem. I need an artist with too much time on their hands. Okay. Okay. Let's... Okay, for now I'm just going to put quest about school conflict. And then maybe quest about what is underneath the school. And I guess that is a different conflict. So let's say quest about conflict over rebuilding the school soon. So soon. And this could maybe happen once the player gets back from the fetch quest. Again, if they choose to do it. So at this point, you're past the tutorial, so the player could be asked to go do the fetch quest, and they could just be like, nah, I'm just gonna go wander out in the world and catch symbiotes and go solve puzzles. I don't give a fuck about your school. And you know, that's fine. That's fine. That's a little bit rude. It's fine though. But if they do that, or if just enough time passes. So maybe like either if the player solves this puzzle, or if they get their first badge, or if they get to a certain level. Maybe say like gate by quest progress, badge progress, level. Progress, sure. And I think I want to do that pretty commonly. I want there to be multiple ways to trigger quests. A lot of quests will just be like, just get to the town where the quest is and you can pick it up. But other quests will specifically be like, oh, it's either going to lead off of completing something or some kind of like progress meter through the game. How about you tie time limits to save amount? I really want to do weird, like, I really want to do things like that. And I think it would annoy some people. Is the problem with it. And so I kind of want to do like weird, I want there to be symbiotes in the game that are hard to capture, that you have to do like special things to get, and like maybe like it's almost like there's a hidden quest to get this symbiote, and it might just be something like the red Gyarados in Pokemon. It might just be like a cool colored variation of a symbiote. Make a game that you want to do. If not, why make game at all? Okay, that's true. But there's a lot of stuff I want to put in a game that I think other people will enjoy too. And then there are some things that I want to put in a game that I'm like, ooh, okay, that could rub people the wrong way. And so I want to make sure I do it right. So something like that, where like you need to make sure a certain amount of time passes, or you need to save 12 times before you can do something. I want those to be like weird side things that are like hidden in the game that the player can learn about, and then they can choose to do it or not. And if they don't do it, then like they're not missing out on like a major story beat or something. They don't have to feel annoyed that they need to like spam the save button 12 times to like further the quest chain that they're doing. Stardew Valley randomness is tied to step count. That's a cool idea. Okay, hold on. Let's make a note of that. That's a good way to just measure the player doing stuff in the world, right? I guess really it's a good way to measure the player spending time in the world. And if they, in that way, you're not punishing them if they don't really make progress. Like if they die a lot, If they kind of waste their time, if they're looking for somebody but they can't find them and they spend lots of time searching for that person, and so because of that they're not farming, they're not earning money, they're not pushing other quests further ahead. That's a good way to still ensure that like things will move forward. That's a good idea. So maybe we could even change this to let's say quest, badge, level, or step progress. Number of steps. Sure. And now let's reword that. Gate by number of steps or quest, badge, level, progress. That wording is better. Quest progress, badge progress, level progress, or number of steps. Sure. Good idea, Dirk. Okay, and so then what my current ideas for this like conflict quest would be two NPCs have an argument and one of them storms off angrily into dangerous territory. Because the school is on the edge. And let's zoom down here. Oh, we're very close to it. So the school is essentially going to be like right here. This is where you start the game on the beach, and then the school is like right next to it. They find you, bring you to the school. This thick black line is a kind of like dividing line for where the mana storms are still like crazy as fuck. On the storm front. Yeah, exactly. So the people rebuilding the school are here like as soon as they realistically could be, right? It's like, it's not safe to try and rebuild a school that's inside a storm area. All of this area is like abandoned places. If you find people, they're probably not having such a good time. They're either like on some kind of mission, they're salvagers collecting things. They're like, you can't just throw up a tent and sleep above ground. Like, you're gonna get struck by weird magic lightning or like a firestorm or something. Like, it's just crazy. It's just fucking crazy over here. And so maybe the two people who have an argument will be like the headmaster and the person that's below them saying like, we shouldn't be here, this is dangerous, like people are gonna get hurt. And then they leave and they head into the like mana storm area to kind of prove their point, right? That they're like this place isn't safe. And so they like angrily march off into this area. And so then maybe that'll be the player's first taste of like, oh shit, we need to go into the danger zone and get them back. And that could be oh my god, lore board. That could be a good way to introduce party mechanics. Because at that point the player will still not have another ally with them. The party structure is going to be the player who has two symbiotes like bonded with them that they control, and then another person that can battle with them that also has two symbiotes bonded with them. I might extend it to three adepts, three symbiote adepts who then themselves have two symbiotes attached to them. But that's 9 party members to control. That's a lot. So I think just doing two adepts, one of them is the player, the other is another person who can bond with symbiotes. You have 2 of those, and then they each have 2 symbiotes, which then gives you a party of 6. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then the goal would be that those creatures can be swapped in and out. And not only that they can be, but that the game will kind of demand that of you. If you really want to, you could not switch symbiotes and just over-level them, but it'll be you'll have more fun and you'll be more successful if you swap out. Ooh, 3 adepts and 3 symbiotes, like 1-to-1. That's a cool idea. Yeah, that might be a better idea. Because then it's focused more on this idea that you have like a close bond with them during combat instead of 1 adept to 2 symbiotes. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll consider that when I'm actually designing the combat system. when we get into coding it, which is going to be a while. It's okay though. It's okay. Baby steps. Okay, so that could be an idea. And then yeah, let's say this could introduce the player to party mechanics. And we'll say by having the headmaster company. Actually, let's go the other way. We'll have the player accompany the headmaster to go after the other NPC. Right? So the headmaster has an argument with somebody, like the second in command or something, and the second in command like goes off into a dangerous place. And then the headmaster is like, "Okay, player, come with me." And then you'll get to use the headmaster, and he'll be like crazy strong. And that way you'll get to learn how group combat works, but you'll kind of have training wheels on. Like this guy could just like heal you like crazy. Ooh, Dirk, that's an interesting idea to have varying amounts. Yeah, that could even open up the system to have somebody who, like you said, has no symbiotes. They're just like a powerful warrior in their own right. That's kind of a cool idea. Ooh. So then essentially it's like a 6-player party or a six character party total, but then it's up to you how you would divvy that up. That's a cool idea. Might be a bit complicated. And I would I would need to have some really cool ideas for the guys that have no symbiotes for them to be worth it. Okay, and so then a quest about what's underneath the school. Spoilers of what is underneath the school. It is an eldritch beast that is the eldritch beast is the thing that powers the spirit world. He feeds on and strengthens the dreams of people, of living creatures. And when the planet was formed, he was injured, and so to protect him, the demigods just made him a little like protective shell, and that shell is also the world of Nair. And something is preventing him from recovering. And so the headmaster not only wants to rebuild the school to protect this weird dream beast creature, to make sure that nobody finds it and destroys it, but also to begin trying to figure out what exactly is preventing him from recovering and becoming healthy again. Yeah. And so this creature is the kind of like the driving power behind the entire nation. It's the reason that they can be spirit warriors. It is the reason the spirit world can exist. It is like a strange byproduct of the way that this creature like feeds off of the dreams and ambitions of people, but also it amplifies them. It makes them greater, so that then it can continue eating and enjoying your delicious, ambitious dreams. Your dreams are delicious, ambitious, and nutritious. It's fun. Fun words. All right. Refilled my water cup that has ice in it with more water. Okay, so we'll put in parentheses. Why not? We'll just like nope, it's not a symbiote. It's an eldritch beast that empowers and feeds upon dreams/spirits. Yeah. So I like this weird paradox that this creature, it creates the thing that it feeds off of. It amplifies the thing that it feeds off of. It's like He's in the field of all of the eldritch beasts. A lot of them are fucked up and weird, but like this guy's just kind of cool. He's all right. His weird, strange niche that he occupies, like he's not that bad. It's kind of a cool guy, and maybe the other beasts like him are also cool guys. You know, like at least one or two of the eldritch beasts don't have to be horrifying, terrible monsters. They can just be like kind of beneficial. Okay, so how do we make this a quest? It could be kind of like there's a maybe it's a trope, maybe it's not a trope. There's a thing I've seen like a few times in a game or in a TV show where like there's a murder or a crime and somebody did it, and then the main character shows up, and then the person investigating the crime is like, okay, main character, I need your help because you weren't fucking here. You're the only person who I know couldn't have done it. And also, like, you're the main character, so you're, like, capable and knowledgeable, and you're so cool. So please help me solve this problem. Maybe something like that, like the fact that the player is a scribe, which inherently means, as we've discussed before, that people will trust you. They will think you have been charged with doing a good task, and that not like you wouldn't do a bad thing because you have a book that is about recovering and documenting information. So like generally you're just searching for information, and the only people who would be suspicious of you are people who have things to hide, people who are little lying, cheating bastards. The Eldritch Beast is harvesting something that it doesn't take from people. Yeah. It's just like he just kind of passively enjoys it, you know? He's not taking your dreams, but just the fact that you have ambition and dreams, just like it sustains him. He loves it. Like a parent that just likes seeing their kid learn and grow and do cool stuff. It's like they just enjoy it. It's how he sustains himself. And then in order to continue enjoying it, he also will amplify those dreams and ambitions. It's maybe it doesn't actually make sense. You know, I don't know how you'd make that into a science, but I think it's a fun idea. It's I think it's nice to imagine an Eldritch Beast that does weird things, but they're not bad. They're not bad. They're a little bit weird. Like you might sleep near one and then you'd have like intense dreams about things you need to do or want to do. And that might be weird, especially somebody who's like denying truths about themselves. You know, like maybe if you were gay but you were trying to hide it, you're trying to deny it, you took a nap nearby the influence of this dream beast, you'd have a bunch of dreams about kissing boys and marrying dudes, and then wake up and be like, shit, okay, you know what, yeah, I probably this is going to be uncomfortable until I accept that I'm gay. I should probably do that. Or it could be like you gotta go ask that girl out because you really like her, or you need to fucking get away from your toxic family members or your abusive husband, or you need to start that book club. You need to start that fucking book club, bro. You know, just anything that you feel like you should do, you know, things you dream about, like metaphorically, but also literally, right? Like often that's why the word dream has an overlap. It's like you have literal dreams, you have metaphorical dreams. Sometimes they are united. Yeah. So anyway, let's go with perhaps the player is trusted by the headmaster because because the player, we'll just keep saying the player, is from another world, right? Like people early in the game, when you are first rescued, you'll like wash up to shore, with a few other people, and very quickly everybody realizes like, oh, you're not, those other people were from like a shipwreck. We have no idea where you're from, and neither do you. And also you have a magic book. So like you're clearly like some fucking weirdo from a different place. We have sustainable eldritch beasts, the greatest professors, interesting locations, and active recreation. Enroll now. Cute. But also like maybe dangerous mana storms just down the street. So, you know, enroll now, but also like be careful. Be careful. Watch your step. Don't head southeast. Head anywhere else, just not south and not southeast. Don't, like, bad idea. Northwest, great. North, great. Northeast, it's okay. It's okay as long as you don't go too far east. And yeah, I guess the headmaster might suspect. So the idea is that scribes are like historically known. Scribes like show up at times of conflict or during times of discovery to like document and learn things and to leave that information behind for everyone. And so maybe the headmaster suspects like the player is here to learn about the Eldritch Beast. Say because the player is a scribe from another world. The fact that they're a scribe is very important. The Dangerous Storm is an interesting location. That's true. Especially if you're an aspiring student of magic. Most certainly. And I dare say we will probably find some crazy wizards trying to set up a little wizard tower in the Mana Storm zone. And maybe some of them figure out what to do. There's a really cool Mass Effect 2 expansion. Might be 1. There's a really cool expansion in one of the Mass Effect games where you find this guy named the Shadow Broker, and he is hiding in a ship that follows a storm that is always raging across a planet. And when you get on his ship, it's being struck by lightning a lot. And the internal mechanisms of the ship, you get to see how it absorbs the lightning strike. There's like all these metal plates that like you'll hear a lightning strike and all the plates they move as a wave. They like jump up. There's like it looks like a crowd doing the wave, but it's like a bunch of metal plates and like electricity dances along them as they rise and fall. I feel like maybe if there's a wizard in the Mana Storms, they have something set up like that. Does the beast fend the storms away? Not necessarily. And that is part of why the storms have been happening. The beast does not get rid of the storms, and that is why for a long time there were storms all over the region, right? Like the storm line is slowly receding. Previously, it was a little bit further up. And now it is receding. And so for a while it was like covering the beast. And it'll the storm is related to a separate thing, which that might be something else we need to hint at. There is one final aspect of the plot, which is that there are like synthetic microorganism creatures that function like a hive mind that are they are following the big bad evil guys to kind of try and figure out like what they're doing and whether they're a threat, and potentially defeat them, and they learn about the Eldritch Beast. And they kind of decide like they need to help this creature and like ally with it because it has powers that they need. And so they are going to help heal it essentially. Which shoot, I need to outline that more. Currently they're called the Synth. I should mark the previous storm front. That's a good point. Yeah, that would like a previous glaciation cap. Yeah, that's cool. I definitely plan to have it be part of the like part of the story. There will be people like setting up or exploring areas where they're like, oh, it's so nice to be able to be here again. Like we haven't been able to come to these areas for like a fucking 100 years because of this stupid weird storm thing that happened. Okay, so I don't actually want to hint at them until near the end of the game. I want them to be the synth are like gonna be mostly talked about in sequels, right? The idea is like lay the groundwork for an interesting slow transition into sci-fi fantasy. I want the game to start being like all fantasy, and then at the tail end of it, we get a little bit of sci-fi shit going on. But I guess Sea of Stars does that. I wouldn't say Sea of Stars does it well. It's entertaining. So, okay, yeah, I'm going to say don't hint about the synth until later. And so then we'll have all of these plot lines that kind of start out with people in towns, people at the school, when they're eating, they're kind of talking about, oh, did you hear the news? There's a crime symbiote. Or did you hear the news? There's some weird ass wizards are coming to do weird shit. But we won't talk about the synth until later. They will assist the player. Also, the synth themselves will be divided about what to do. There are some synth that think like we should just destroy anything that could be powerful and could become our enemy, like the Eldritch Beast. But then there are also synth that are like nah, dude, they're the only way we can defeat the big bad evil guys. Plotlines, indeed. I need to outline them more and more. I've been thinking about how they will intertwine. Fun like surprises that maybe players will or won't see coming. Just cool ideas. I can imagine certain moments of the game, certain moments of the plot being very interesting. And it seems like that's a thing that a lot of like writers do, is they figure out the twist, they figure out the cool moment, and then they're like, okay, I gotta get there. So yeah, we'll get there. I'll rehash the ideas until they're cool, until they work. Okay, so then I guess this is a good enough outline for a simple quest to go save somebody from the Mana Storm zone. But yeah, we should outline where the receding front is. Hey Cosmo, Siamano. I don't know what that means, but hello. There are story beats systems, like a way to organize these thoughts. Okay, how did I make a line? It's a connection line, but then okay, I want you to be like a curved line, but then I want you to have more parts. How do I did this at some point. A way to outline stories. Okay, cool. I swear before, yeah, there we go. If you just like move it a bunch, it'll like make more points. Okay, great. Okay. So then, yeah, what we want is like, it was kind of partially, the storm was kind of, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so we're gonna pull it in. Whoop. Something like this. And then I kind of want to make it match this shape a little bit more. We can kind of come down a little. Something like that is where the storm previously was. And then, oh, cool. We can make it like a cool color. No, you want to be blue? Sure. All right, that's fine. Okay, so we'll get into more about what caused the storm, probably with the backstory of the gods when we delve into that more. You feel like you have to create your first game, then make it. You just have to do it. There will always be a reason to not do it. You just got to do it. You wanted to learn web development, but you don't know why it's so boring. Everybody's I don't know. Everybody finds different things interesting. Am I using 'S''RE for it? Or it is, and we are, and they are. Maybe? I don't know. I probably missed a few. I'm not overly concerned about grammar, you know? This is not like a document I'm presenting to important people. This is a functional document. So there's probably some incorrect things in here, and that's okay. That's all right. Look at all these sentences. They're not capitalized. They don't have a period at the end. It's fine. It's fine. Nothing's exploding. Everything's good. Everything's good. Okay, so I think this is less of a conflict that the player has to deal with, and more of just something for now that is hinted at. The disagreement about Spirit Warrior training and its importance. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then these two conflicts, we definitely want quests about them. And I'm not really sure how we would do that. And I think that'll be it for the opening area quest wise. Other than some little combat challenges that perhaps the person who teaches you combat, maybe they're like a master at arms or something. Every a wizarding school would have somebody who does magic combat. I'll probably try to motivate the player to speak with them and to do some essentially tutorial plus stuff. Oh my god, Cosmo, no, I can't read that. I don't know what that says. I could Google Translate it. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna put translate. It better not be a rude thing. How to pronounce it? Is it just a name? It's a Polish word. The equivalent to the English name Gregory. Okay, so it's just a name. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, no, I absolutely can't read that though. I'm sure somebody who speaks Polish could fucking read that. My mouth would get... There's 6 places that my mouth would decide it has no idea what to do while trying to read that name. I'm not worldly. Okay, so let's go ahead and call these... Actually, yeah, we'll go with Region Quest 1 and Temple Quest 1. And then we'll... essentially, the idea will be the main quest will continue throughout every region. And then every region will have its own quest. Every region will have its own region quest and its own temple quest. And I guess, you know what? To keep everything matching, we'll go with zeros because this is technically region 0. I don't know why I did that. Coding things has broken me and now makes me want to count everything from 0. It's not smart. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and decide. What were the? I can't pan. I swear before that was letting me pan. I swear clicking in on the wheel was letting me pan. Oh, it's clicking. It's right clicking. Okay, all right. I'm losing my mind. That's fine. It was either right poisoned water or wind coming from the caverns. So let's go ahead and decide. Let's say the temple quest would be poisoned water, right? Because it's water. And Dirk, thank you for the story beat thing. I will read that later. Should be helpful. The worst part is you have to imagine a game you want to create? That's like the best part. If that doesn't sound good, why do you want to make a game? Like, I literally can't help myself from doing that. Like, why do you want to make a game if that sounds bad? That sounds like you'd hate the whole process. That's crazy. Or maybe it means you should work for somebody, right? You should find somebody who's got a cool idea for a game and be like, let me help you. You just have nothing in mind? Oh my god, dude. There's like 4 video games I desperately want to make. And then there's like 20 board games I want to make. I have a giant list of games I want to make. It's like they get stuck in your head. It's relentless. It's like you just write them down to get them out of your head. Yeah, Dirk's got a point. There's a way to figure out. Like I feel like you've just gotta think about what you would want. Like I feel like if you make a game for other people, that's lame. It's not gonna be fun. If you make a game that you want to exist, then like when you're playtesting it, like it's like that should be fun. Playing the levels, making sure it's challenging, making sure it's interesting, like all that should be fun because it's a game that you want to play. Yeah, having to create the graphics first is definitely a difficult sticking point. I think that's why a lot of people use something like Godot, where essentially, they still need to make art, but the graphics engine is essentially like already there. You want to create a game with a cute cat with its journey. I mean, yeah, that sounds good. That doesn't sound bad. The idea sounds like obviously there needs to be more to that, but like people fucking love cats. The internet loves cats. There's a cute game called Little Kitty Big City that you could describe as a cute cat and its journey. There's probably dozens of games like that. But yeah, I would say figure out the unique thing about it, or the most important thing about the game. And then you should be able to start like making the graphics and also like designing everything else around it. I think Animal Well is a really cool example of a very achievable thing that one person can do. The graphics are simple, but they're very cool looking, very unique, very interesting. There is not much of a story going on. It's very like bare bones. But then like all the characters are cute or strange or weird. Your imagination is basically a set of procedures. Deconstruct a known thing, change some properties, overwrite some interactions, boom. I feel like for me there's a step before it where it's like there's a thing that I almost think is perfect, or that I'm like I desperately want to just be a little bit different. And then I deconstruct that thing. And then try to add in the things that I want and take out the things that I think are dumb. And then fucking boom. Then you got a fucking game. And now you just got to make it. Okay, so back to speaking of making game. Need to think about like, where do I want the player to get these quests? Right? Like, I feel like so far all the other quests, oh my god, I'm back to being able to use the middle mouse button to pan around. All right, Miro, why are you so crazy? You can use both. I see. For some reason, a second ago, I couldn't use both. All right. Anyway, all the other quests are going to be like, you get them in town or you get them at the school. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that could come to be some kind of expectation. But I think it could also be okay to have somebody, like somebody from the town is like standing outside of the like crazy wind caverns with like a few other people from the town, and they're like, dude, like what the hell are we gonna do? Like there is something going on in there, and like we can't even get in there. Shit's crazy. The wind is just like blowing us out of these caverns. Like it's causing all kinds of problems. We can't use the tunnels to travel. Ooh, actually, that's a cool idea. If the tunnels led to another area, then that could be a motivation for the character to solve the problem. Ooh, okay. Okay, yeah. Let's go with that. Limiting travel. And then, if the player wants to, they could just solve the problem enough for themselves to travel through. Or they could go further and explore the I guess it would be sort of like, this would be like the equivalent of like Mount Moon or something. Something the player can go through, but then there's also the plot in Mount Moon with like Team Rocket. And like, what if that was optional? You could either deal with it or you could just skip past it. Yeah, Dirk's got a good point. Like specifically focusing on like the main interactions. Like when I was first imagining this game, it was like, what if Pokemon, but like tactical combat? And then I can see the way I want combat to look. I can see the things I want to be able to do, like casting a water spell on an enemy that's been hit by an ice spell and it like freezes them. That kind of thing. Knowing those things. Also being able to run around in an open world and like collect ingredients by like cutting down plants or mining ore. Seeing like a puzzle and then trying to figure out what the hell to do with it. Like in Legend of Zelda. It's really fun. The oh my god, what are they called? Little cute little guys that say yahaha. Koroks. There's a bunch of cute little puzzles in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom where like you go up to a circle of stones and like one stone's missing. And then you see a stone like on a hill nearby and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take that stone and I'm gonna put it in the circle. And then you do, and then a cute little forest guy appears and he says yahaha, and then he gives you a Korok seed, which is actually just fossilized Korok poop. And so like that's kind of gross, but it's still cute and fun. I love games with puzzles like that. That's like the whole reason I play Genshin Impact. It's fun to just run around and find weird puzzles. Genshin Impact can be frustrating though, because some of the puzzles are they make new mechanics and then they could explain the new mechanic to you in like 2 sentences, but like, oh no, they don't. They tell it to you in like 20 sentences, and it's so annoying. They just love to write. They just love to fucking read the words they wrote, even if they're not clear or concise or sensible. It's very frustrating. Korok suffers in the last Zelda game for a reason. Well, okay, I'm not very far into Tears of the Kingdom, so don't, God, I need to go back to that. Oh my god. It's so hard to play Tears of the Kingdom. The buttons are all wrong. Like, compared to every other... They're a pain in the ass. Yeah. Look, finding them all definitely is, but like, in Breath of the Wild, I just accepted I would never find them all. So I did the ones that I could figure out. It's fine. It's fine. The game's absolutely worth its price tag. It's totally fine. Okay, so the region quest is going to be clearing out the wind caverns. Let's say NPCs. outside the wind caverns, trying to assess the problem, but they can't get in. Now, how do we explain that the player can get in? Now, perhaps at this point, the player has gotten some kind of tool that will let them get in. And maybe, this could be where I force the player to get the first tool. And maybe if they had done any of the other quests first, they will have that tool. Need to think about what that tool would be. The player must have a tool / ability to get inside the wind caverns. To be able to travel to the next region. And actually, it's specifically, I believe, Region 2 is what I want to do. I want Region 1 to just be open, right? Like, the idea is going to be, you start in Region 0, you got all sorts of stuff you can do, but you've even got a gym you can go to. But if you want, you can just kind of skip past that. You can go do some extra stuff in here, level up. There's another city in here as well to challenge for another badge. And then once you do this stuff, then it's like, okay, now it's time to get into Region 2, and that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be like, you're going to have to go through some kind of little dungeon. In this case, it's going to be the wind tunnels. And then additionally, the player from Region 1 will be able to go into a small part of Region 11. But not fully. So maybe there are some parts in Pokemon where you can like kind of poke your head into a little section and find some unique Pokemon kind of ahead of time. I like that. I like that shit. Shit's good. Okay, so we need to think on what that ability would be. Hey, Small Brain. Maybe it's just you, but you didn't enjoy Tears of the Kingdom? The map is big, but felt empty and repetitive. Yeah, I definitely feel that. The dungeons were pretty bad as well. So far I've really enjoyed the shrines. I have bounced off of it. Like I played the game for like 6 hours. Then the next day I played the game for like 6 hours. And then the next day I played the game for like 6 hours. And then I had like other stuff to do. And trying to go back to it is very fucking difficult. But there was some fucking like gleeful fun I have not had in a video game in a long time, trying to solve some of the shrine puzzles and just like gluing shit together. Also, like when you have things glued together and you want to take them apart, you like waggle them and they come apart. Like, oh my God, it's so fun. It's so much. It's just good fucking like childish fun. How does my game look now? It basically looks the same. That's the nice thing about Godot is you don't really have to focus on having a functional graphics system. Like I'm still just working on like processes for all the characters in the game, making sure that like the world can function. Like building a world full of plants that creatures can eat is that's still where we're at. It's been a while trying to figure out exactly how to do that. But yeah, so it still just looks the same. I'm still just using assets from Pokemon. And then using all of Godot's like built-in physics functions. So I don't know. It's nice that you can start making the game before it even looks like how it's gonna look in the end result. And it's pretty easy to kind of just swap things in. When I start doing pixel art, once I'm done with the lore, where I'm gonna start doing pixel art, and I'm gonna make a main character first, and then I'll swap in the main character and take out the Pokemon assets that I'm using. It is nice. The game will start at the island. What island? Is it a cool island? By awful, you mean underwhelming. Okay, yeah, maybe that's better, right? Like Tears of the Kingdom is probably not awful in any region. You won't spoil anything, don't worry. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's do the temple quest. So So I think the idea with the temple quest is that the player will see near the temple, which will be in a lake that is let's see, do I still have it open? Still have paint open? Yeah. Okay, so here's the terrible current sketch of the opening region. This is a river. There's going to be a lake, and that's where the temple will be. And the player will be able to see that there's poisoned water all around. And if they follow that to its source, they will find the temple. I don't know if I actually want to have a quest for it where somebody on the outside is like, hey, go fix this thing. But I guess maybe for the initial one, that might be a thing to do. You might make an island with a forest. You have to create sand textures. Yeah, you have to create sand. You have to create grass. You have to create where grass and sand meet. You know. And for a while, that's just super easy. Echoes of Wisdom does look really good. Will I stream it? If it's a very good game, if it gets good reviews, I definitely plan to buy it. And I would probably stream it. It does seem fun. The main thing, like, I'm not streaming any games right now because I'm going through physical therapy, but I'll be done with that in a few weeks. And I think, actually, when does Echoes of Wisdom come out? Can't spell. Okay, so yeah, I'll be done with physical therapy. So yeah, as long as it reviews well, I will probably play it and stream it. Can you please look at why my cat will always return sick from the forest? Yeah, I feel like maybe something like that could be a good quest. Have I ever seen Da Fluffy Potato on YouTube? No. That is a cute name, though. That's a fun name. Yeah, how do we... God, maybe this quest could be started from multiple points? That's an interesting idea. And actually, maybe that's something that should be the case for the region quest as well. I don't know if Baldur's Gate does this, but I feel like there are probably some quests that are like this, where you could hear about something from multiple different sources. Like, maybe like an NPC in town, or outside the temple, or at the school might mention water pollution issues. And then maybe like some NPCs like maybe they will mention the fact that like the abandoned shrine looks polluted. The abandoned temple looks polluted. And it's a water temple, so it's in the water. It's around water. So then maybe the idea would be that the player can get this quest started from multiple different points. Like, if they hear anybody talking about the polluted water, that might be something that that would start the quest. Or if they heard an NPC mentioning that, like, the water temple is abandoned, but also it looks like recently it looks like there's polluted water around it. So yeah, let's add recent in there. That it recently looks polluted. And And so then if the player gets all of this information, then the quest is going to be like, oh, let's investigate the source of the polluted water, which is at the temple. But if they only have some of the information, it'll just, the quest will be like, well, there's like polluted water in the region. Maybe we should investigate to see where it's coming from. And then if the player goes to the temple, they'll also get the same kind of information. Like, oh yeah, clearly the pollution is coming from the temple. So I guess we would need to make sure that we were like, all the pollution needs to be downriver of the temple. So let's add that. Poisoned water downriver from temple. And so then this quest is just going to be like, deal with it. Yeah, I guess I should probably note how these quests resolve. Yeah. Okay. And this should all just be one thing. One long line of info. Player resolves quest by defeating boss in temple. And I want the boss to be some kind of like special symbiote. It's like corrupted by some force, but then actually the force that's corrupting it is the is this weird malignant force. And like at first you won't really, you won't think much of it. It's just like it's a one-time thing, but then you go to the next temple and like, oh, it's corrupted in a similar way. Okay, all right, something's going on. Something's happening. What could be happening? Could it be that some malignant alien force is working its way into the realm and trying to take it over like a cancer? Could be. We were talking amalgams. Were we? When? Like as in, like an amalgam is like a combination of things. I don't remember if we were, I remember we talked about the big bad evil guy before, but I don't remember if we talked about specifically like how I want it to be like corrupting, making like corrupted versions of the symbiotes. So what I want the story to slowly reveal is that there is like a, much like nature is a competition for power. I guess it's a competition among powers. The most powerful will thrive. Well, maybe not most powerful. Okay, what the line is like the survival of the most fit, the survival of the fittest. If you are well adapted to your environment, then you will survive. I want to kind of reveal the next level of that, which is like on an intergalactic or a multi-planetary level. There are all sorts of powerful beings that are warring with each other and seeking power in any way they can in order to protect themselves. Right, two symbiotes combining to survive. When the cat and mouse are pushed together by the environment and need. Yeah, I think we talked about that, but I was like, I don't know how to, like that would be so hard to actually enact. That like Pokemon Fusion game looks like it takes so much work to make something like that, like symbiotes that could combine. It would be interesting to do a special symbiote like that. It could be cool. Okay, so I should probably let's go back and add how the player resolves the quests. So player can skip finishing this quest, but can resolve it by defeating a boss inside the caverns. And this boss won't be like corrupted. They'll just be like some kind of a creature that's like infesting the area. Could have like 4 amalgam sprites and add unstable effects. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Like having this be like a limited kind of thing. It's kind of digitized or formless. Ooh. That's an interesting idea. I definitely want the I want the like weird technological strangeness to happen later. But maybe we could have a weird little hints at it early on. It's kind of fun in a game where there's something that doesn't fit in, and you as the player don't really know why. And there's no way for you to really learn why until later. It's kind of an interesting idea. Okay, let me note that. Is what I want from the like science fiction aspect of the game is the synth, the like hive mind, like microorganism technology people, beings, I guess, alien race. I want them to kind of decide to like ally with the people of Nair, and part of what they are going to do is intermix themselves with the symbiotes. And so then like the symbiotes will be like they will have mechanical aspects to them. They will have like sci-fi robot metal parts. As the game progresses, there will be like variations of them that are like sci-fi influenced. But it would also be okay to potentially have like the evil forces like that. You could create amalgam classes rather than draw on combinations. I think it's a cool idea to potentially have it be both, right? Like if they combine together to do some certain thing. And so then if you, the player, seeing them, you would know to worry about certain combinations based on your party. I think is a cool idea. No, there is no way. Cosmo, what is this random video?
You blew it.
I'm not clicking the random video. Do I know Undertale? Yeah, I streamed Undertale. It was fun. I did a pacifist run. It was fun. It was very cute. Dirk, that's an interesting idea. Get to the same class from different combinations. That's a cool idea, but I feel like then it's less clear to the player. It's more complicated, and maybe more complicated than it needs to be. I don't know. I don't like that one as much. I think it's a cool idea, but the way that I'm imagining this isn't as good. Oh my god. Oh, so now you've got bonus cash, so now you can fisheye me. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I've been fish-eyed. Okay, so we will we'll decide more about the corrupting force visually in the future. I do kind of like the idea about it being like weird and digital, because then the player might be suspicious of the synth, who themselves are also weird and digitally future-y technology-ish. But then, you know, they're just like, they're two different forces. They just might look similar. Kind of a cool idea. Okay, so we're trying to write how quests would resolve. We don't need to worry about how the main quest will resolve because it won't anytime soon. Oh, you know what? Hold on, let me... Greg is chilling out, so let's add Greg in here. But then I think look, I'll put her over here, and then I'll just kind of assume. There's your tail. I'll just kind of assume you guys can't see anything on the right. That works for me. Okay, so the main quest doesn't need to resolve. The first quest, like visiting the town for emergency supplies, it's obvious how that resolves. It's obvious how collecting ingredients would resolve. Ooh, and actually, I guess we should maybe add to that, like, capture Sims? Start calling the symbiote Sims for short. Why do you indent more? What has happened here? You're just a bunch of spaces. Why did I do that? What the? That's crazy. Why did who did that? Who could have possibly done that? I wouldn't have done that. It's not true. I probably did. Okay, so we don't really care about how these resolve because they resolve very obviously. Go collect some more and bring it back. Like fucking duh. Okay. The quest about going to rescue the NPC that has a disagreement with the headmaster and just like storms off into a storm. Har har. Yeah, honestly, I feel like all of these are pretty obvious about how they will resolve. Okay, this one actually we should expand more on. So, like, what is underneath the school? So, I think maybe what we want to do here is, we want to justify, like, at first the headmaster seems like kind of a dick. Like he seems like a good guy who wants to rebuild the school because it was important to him, and the people who taught him like mean a lot to him, and so does the school. But then, like, I want the player to kind of have the feeling that he's pushing too hard for it, like he wants it too bad, too much. And so a lot of the people who have followed him follow him because they respect him, and they also respect the idea of rebuilding the school because they also valued it. But a lot of them are kind of like, dude, you're pushing too hard. Like, the storm is just outside of the school bounds now. Like, you know, maybe like, what if it comes back? What if it gets worse? Like, this is maybe not the best time to rebuild the school. But then during this second quest about the school, the player will learn that, like, okay, there is something underneath the school that's being protected. And I think we want to justify the headmaster coming back here. Like, maybe something, whatever the headmaster is worried about, like somebody like attacking this creature or trying to like steal, I don't know, like extract something from it. Like maybe the Eldritch Beast is a sort of power. It has a sort of power source. I guess we could, we had talked about in the What is Magic thing that the Eldritch elements come from Eldritch beings, and there are no known like glass crystals of these elements. And perhaps maybe the Eldritch Beast, you can extract one of these elements from the Eldritch Beast or something, maybe. And then so like maybe some creature or group has attacked the Eldritch Beast, and so the headmaster asks you to come help him because he doesn't want to tell other people about the fucking beast, but he needs help. And so he's like, bro, come with me. We got some people to fuck up. We got to kick some ass. headmaster might not be sympathetic to the locals' needs too. Now I had kind of thought what I was thinking is like the locals would be like they would be happy the school is being rebuilt, but a lot of them might also kind of feel like, maybe it's too soon. Like this nation, the nation of the Endless Isles, they need a name. I'm gonna sit here after the stream, and I'm gonna not do anything until I come up with a fucking name for the nation. So since the nation values warriors, like to an extreme extent, this is a nation. It's a nation of peaceful warriors. They maintain peace by being powerful warriors. My thought is that they would view the school being rebuilt as like good, because then, okay, great, we can train more warriors, we can train more wizards. That's something that is very important to this nation. But they might also agree with some of the people that work for the headmaster that's like, you're pushing too hard. I hadn't really thought about the idea of the headmaster not being sympathetic toward the locals' needs, but I feel like I don't like that vibe. I want the headmaster to be like really relatable because he cares about this place. Massive nuclear arsenal nation. Pretty much, yeah. And it's like, what if they were the only one with nukes? And so if you wanted a nuke, if you wanted a nuclear weapon, you had to come to them to get it. But then by doing that, you kind of also you become the kind of people who don't want to use nukes, or who don't want to do war, right? Like if a foreign nation sends warriors here to learn how to be spirit warriors, they become much more powerful warriors, but they also become like disinterested in the petty aspects of war, right? If you let's say you send some people to become spirit warriors, then they come back to your country and you're like, okay, spirit warriors, we're gonna go like steal land from our neighbors. They're gonna be like, nah, like, nope, no, we're not gonna do that. That's dumb. That's a bad idea. No, just nope. That's not the right thing to do. They're just gonna flat out tell you no. And what are you gonna do? Like, kill them? They'll just come back to life. They'll just fucking abandon your cause. You'd like, it's like a double-edged sword situation. You absolutely want spirit warriors, but like also they're not gonna do bullshit for you. They're not gonna do corrupt, bad crime as a war kind of a situation. The headmaster has to have a flaw though. Okay, so I want the headmaster's flaw to be that he is pushing too hard for this and that he doesn't trust people. Because if he explained to everybody what the situation was, then they could help him, and they could also maybe they could come up with a different plan, like not like let's wait on rebuilding the school and let's send our trained professionals, our best warrior mages to the school to kind of like guard it and see if the storms are going to get worse. Let's wait on it, you know? We can go protect the Eldritch Beast, but also not go full force with rebuilding this school and then potentially bringing students into an unsafe situation. And so maybe the headmaster is like, he's prideful and he's distrusting. Shady and pushy, yeah, sure. And so he's relatable because you understand, like, I want the player to understand why he wants what he wants, and I want to demonstrate that he has like good moral character. Like he helps people, he looks after people, he does what is right. But then in this one way, he's like doing something that you're like, wow, that's like wrong. That's like, dang, dude, you're like letting your character flaws lead you to doing some stuff that's maybe endangering people's lives. And so then the conclusion to this quest might be the player convincing the headmaster, like, dude, you gotta at least tell like your trusted circle of like high level professors, the people who are going to be teaching your classes, like you should probably let them know what's going on. And then like you can all work together to like fucking protect this place. And maybe we could have that go wrong a little bit in the future, like one of the people he trusts betrays him. So he's like, oh, dang, I was right. But also, like, all the other people I trusted, like, helped me out to deal with the person who betrayed me. So, like, I was still kind of wrong. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. So I guess he will have flaws, right? He will have absolutely respectable qualities, and then also qualities that are like, oh, dude, you're kind of an asshole. You kind of suck. Which is, I think that's a pretty, that's like a pretty typical like headmaster or like school, like archmage kind of thing. You know, like the person in authority has to do things that aren't popular for what they think is right for the future of the organization in question. Okay, shoot. So no, it's not this quest. It's this quest. So we'll say the player and the headmaster travel below the school. That's not how you spell school. What should they defeat? It could just be maybe like corrupted symbiotes that want to feed off of the Eldritch Beast. I think at first we're kind of just slowly teasing the like corruption. It's going to be in the temple. Corrupted creatures are going to reach into the school, underneath the school. But eventually I also want the like military powers to learn about this beast and to decide they want to extract value from it somehow. Probably by killing it, you know. It was a long path to them, though, to do those things. Sure. But it's you know, it's like I want that to be understandable. I think there's a good room with this character to make their journey one that you would understand, but then also to be like, dude, you're also kind of a dick. Like you gotta let your guard down, buddy. You gotta like trust people, you know? Defeat Stormborn worms. That sounds cool. Yeah, I don't know what symbiotes we would necessarily use here. Maybe it could be a tease of like some kind of powerful symbiotes that the player will encounter in the future. Like if at the beginning of Pokemon you saw like a Dragonite, you like defeated a Dragonite along with like a member of the Elite Four or something. Like you've only got one badge and like a level 50 Dragonite attacks you in Mount Moon and a member of the Elite Four shows up, like Lance shows up to help you defeat a corrupted Dragonite. Like that could be cool. And then maybe Lance could mention like, dang, Dragonites are usually only found in this area. Why is this one here? What's going on? And then that could be a good tease for the player so that they're like, ooh, shit, I gotta get to the like northwestern mountains so I can get myself a cool fucking Dragonite, dude. Which, while I'm on that topic, it does really suck that there are creatures like Dragonite that you never see in Red and Blue. Like they can only exist, like Lance has some, and you can level up a Dratini or a Dragonair to get one, but like there's no cool place where you could go to just see a bunch of Dragonites doing cool Dragonite shit. They don't even appear in the wild. At least as far as I know. I'm pretty fucking sure there's nowhere that Dragonites appear in the wild. Okay, so yeah, we don't need to explain how to resolve this because we've stated what the exact quest is, to just like go down below the school, defeat corrupted symbiotes. Okay, so then that's cool. We know the region quest gets resolved by defeating a boss. The player can also just not defeat a boss, and just leave the quest unfinished, or maybe even not accept it. They could just walk by the people giving the quest and like just get through enough of the cavern to go on their own way, but not actually solve the problem. Your brain's not working. That's okay, Dirk. Just relax, man. My brain's only kind of working. We'll get there. We'll get there. I do want to think about what tool the player should need to travel through the wind caverns. And I feel like we did. Middle mouse wheel's not working for scroll anymore. What a world. Tian has a bunch of tools associated with them. And I feel like we could really make anything work if we wanted to. Relax, yes. Relax. You were relaxing at some point. Do it again. Be lax. Ooh, sails are kind of cool. So we could do something like nature, like you could have some kind of vine or something that helps you move against the wind. Or you could like grow vines to like block something. This could be like a traversal tool out in the world, but also a tool to like block and manipulate the wind in this region. We're definitely going to lax like laxatives. Well, yeah. Because it has a it has a shared meaning. When you take laxatives, a part of you is relaxing. It's more lax. I don't know. It's there. You can put it together. You could figure it out. Okay, but so anyway, the actual specific tools that we had talked about was like the very typical, the leaf glider. Sorry, Greg. Sorry, I scared you. I know. That's this shit's in Zelda. It's probably in so many games. It'd be really cool if AI was advanced enough that I could ask AI, like, how many games have a little like glider thing that you can float around on? Like Fortnite, Zelda. There's so many other games. Fuck. And then also like a leaf fan, also from Zelda. Like so many of these things are going to be in Zelda. Interestingly, a kind of unique one that we thought up because the god that Tian is based off of, like held bags of wind. Since they're the god of the wind, they've got a bag, and that bag has the wind in it. It would be interesting to have this tool that we've already noted could have multiple purposes. That you could use it to like make wheels move, to make things turn, like power something. Or you could potentially like breathe from it. A little cartoony, but fun. I wonder if we could we repurpose that and also have it like have it let you into the wind caverns. I could see a way where you could just use it to hold your breath and like swim underneath where the wind is blowing. the other people couldn't hold their breath long enough to get into like an underwater opening. So we could just do something like that. I think wherever possible, I want unique. Oh, Dirk, you gotta go? All right, man. Have a nice day. I'm gonna wrap up soon anyway. I have physical therapy kind of made my abdomen a little bit sore, even though I'm just working out my arms. You gotta like, when you're doing exercises, you gotta like flex your fucking abdomen. Everything involves your abdomen. Don't get a hernia in your abdomen zone. It fucking sucks. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this and then wrap up. I'll be done on the hour. You're not gonna miss much. So anyway, I want, wherever possible, I want like unique tools that aren't things that come out of Zelda. Maybe you can collect wind and use it as a jetpack. Yeah, I was thinking about something like that like it might be a fun tool to let the player like jump up things. But yeah, it would be very limited. That seems like a fun traversal tool. And I had already thought of the way that I want this area to look. I want there to be like all sorts of like differing levels of things. So it's like a temperate forest, but with kind of like cubic. I don't know. Let's open paint. Something. Something like, nope, I don't want it to be blue. We'll have it be black. Just like areas with different levels like this. And then obviously like, depending on the kind of stone, it's not going to just be like a nice 90-degree thing. But it's especially if like, I want the player to be able to be up here and to like see down here and be like, well, shit, how do I get down there? And then they'll find shortcuts, they'll find ladders, ropes, things that can lead them down to those kinds of areas, but it's up to them to kind of construct a mental map of what they see as they're up high to maybe inform them about like some hidden items or some hidden pathways down below. And so yeah, an ability to like a limited jump could be fun. Yeah, and then if the player's in water, they could use it to be able to like dive for an extended period of time. And I haven't thought about how I would deal with that visually. And I think maybe what we would do is it would be something similar. I'll draw the idea in a second. Fast comment on water levels. Maybe having same thing underwater would result in coral, but above water it's a tree. Whoa. You'd use an axe on the tree, but use a pickaxe to mine coral. Now pie. Okay, pie Turk. That's an interesting idea. I do like the idea of I want there to be coral in this place. I fucking love that coral's it's just so pretty. Just so beautiful. Okay, so a simple way that the wind bag could work would be like it's like top down, right? So the player could just this is water, right? So normally the player is sticking out of the water as they swim, right? They just kind of tread water. But then if they suck in air from the bag, they could just go below water, and from the top they would just look like a little shadow, a little filled in shadow in a top down water area. And so then if we had wind blowing up here, if the player is up top, they can't go because the wind pushes them back. But if they dive down, they can get past the wind and then like come up maybe into a spot where they can like climb up some rocks or something and stay attached. Shoot, that's out of range. Here we go. So they could swim and then come up, like climb some rocks and then like go inside. Maybe we could have like a rope. We could have like there's like a little rope that the player is grabbing onto and like pulling themselves in past the wind. and so nobody else can get in because they can't hold their breath long enough. Something like that. Something just very simple. Like that would be cool. Okay, so I'll note that for now. It is the region quest. NPCs are trying to assess the problem, but they can't get in. Player must have a tool or ability. We'll go with like windbag, hold breath. Maybe this will hinge upon as I start designing the actual puzzles in the area. I might decide that I want some kind of other tool that would be more useful for puzzles. Although it does kind of feel like if I do the windbag right, like it could be used for lots of things. It could be used for jumping. It could be used for blasting little gusts of wind. Ooh, it could even like cushion your landing. That's like a cute idea. So if you have a full windbag, you could not only jump really high, but if you were high, you could jump down and have it cushion you. That's cute. Okay, so then what else do I need to expand upon? I feel like we're kind of good on the quests. Period there. Right, so we talked about having combat encounters. Let's say expand combat knowledge. Okay, I want to say that this would be given by an NPC, like by a training NPC, by somebody that's like a master at arms or like a, I don't know, the person at the school who's gonna teach mages, like, hey, like if you want to actually learn how to fight, like, sure, it's cool to learn like fireball spells and shit, but like somebody's gonna try to fucking stab you, bro. You got to be able to do a fireball while you're deflecting attacks or working on your footwork so you don't trip and fall while you're backpedaling. You can't go away, Turg. God damn it. Do whatever you need to do. Go be a responsible human. So let's call these combat knowledge challenges given by a master at arms type NPC in the school. And like maybe abroad. Actually, that could be interesting. Like maybe you could see there could be some kind of item like staked in the ground and you could click on it and it's like a weird like oh my god, what do they call them? In Dungeons and Dragons, no, in Baldur's Gate specifically. I don't know D&D that well. I know Baldur's Gate. There's like a mage guy who has like a weird like representation of himself. Shoot, Gale does it too. Okay, so like lots of mages make weird little like illusion versions of themselves. So like maybe you could find an item and use the item to then do a combat challenge outside of the school. And it's like the master at arms being like, hey, I left this thing here. You want to do a challenge that's about these symbiotes that are around? Here, let me teach you how they work. Let's do a little combat challenge in like a little dream realm with some made up fake, but still applicable for the sake of learning combat. Consider tool use in combat. Yeah, definitely. And not just in combat, but also to begin combat. Sea of Stars has a really cool thing where you can kind of like sneak up on enemies and start combat with like a surprise attack, or you can get surprised by enemies and miss out on your first attack. But then later in Sea of Stars, you get a grappling hook thing and you can smack enemies with it, and it makes it very easy to get your combat advantage. It's very nice. But yeah, I want tools, just like in Pokemon. The tools in Pokemon are abilities. I want the tools in my game to also be useful as weapons, and not even always weapons. Sometimes just like a useful item. maybe to heal you or protect you or something, but in a limited fashion for sure. So yeah, maybe we should add that. The Master at Arms would probably teach you about tool usage during combat. And you know, maybe we reimagine tools to be just like Pokemon, and like instead of getting a magic wind bag blessed to you by the god Tien, you get the ability to like summon a symbiote that does that. It was always frustrating in Pokemon that like if you wanted to use certain abilities like cut to cut down grass that blocks your way, well, I guess it's not grass, it's like a bush. You can cut down bushes that block your way, or surf to ride across the waves. You'd have to have a Pokemon that can do that in your party. And Pokemon eventually moved away from that. By you would just have a special Pokemon you would summon for the purpose of doing that. I think something like that might be a good idea. Reimagine as moves like Pokemon. Maybe. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe not. Okay, and so then we don't need to introduce temples. We have a quest for the temple. But we do want to have some kind of quest that sort of like explains to players like how the world works. That there are puzzles in the world. Like there might be a puzzle where you need to, like the example I used before, you need to place a stone down in a certain spot. And there might be another puzzle where you need to place another stone in a different spot. And I need the player to understand that you can't take the stone from the first puzzle and bring it over to the second puzzle. Like you can't do that, especially because there will be more complicated situations where you just can't. Or that would give you an unfair advantage if it wasn't stones you were moving, but like connectors on like a circuit or something, and having an extra one would make it too easy. You'd like to have both moves and tools. So that is initially what I was thinking. I've got to figure out a way to make it not annoying though. Right? Like, let's see, is tools and moves? Because I was thinking maybe the player could avoid doing a quest they don't want to do where they get a tool, but instead they get a Pokemon that has the move that lets them do what they want. But I hate the way that you have to have the Pokemon in your party. So maybe the idea would just be like you have a special place in your inventory for your tool symbiotes. So instead of having to have like some dumb, you go catch a level like 8 Oddish that you never use for anything else except using cut, and every time you need to cut something, you're like, oh god, I gotta go back and get my stupid Oddish and take out a good Pokemon in my party and put in Oddish so I can cut things down. Instead, I'll have like a special slot where you could put Oddish, and he can't fight, but he can still cut stuff down. Maybe some kind of like mind meld, like a special kind of Dreamstone that just lets you utilize their ability. Something like that. But yeah, Dirk, I think that's a really good idea to have it be potentially both. And then that gives the player multiple options with what they want to do. And people in the world will let you know that. Like, oh, you need to cut that thing down? Well, you could go get this tool, or you could, like certain symbiotes can do that. Maybe it's like lessons that you learn from them. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Like essentially they teach you how to use that magic. Ooh, that's a cool idea. Okay. Ooh, how do we do that though? Earthbenders learned from giant earth moles. Yeah, sure. Okay. No, that's a really cool idea. Okay, so we'll say moves learned from symbiotes. Reimagine as tools and maybe or moves learned by symbiotes. Yeah, that's a cool idea. So we'd have to figure out what you would need to do to have them teach you that. It shouldn't just be something that's really easy to get. But that's a cool idea. But yeah, you could either learn the move or you could use a tool given to you by a god. Or maybe the god gave the tool to somebody else, but then you did something nice for them and they were like, yeah, I don't need this thing. Here, you take it. And then that could be a fun moment when you, if you decide to resurrect the gods. They could be like, oh shit, you got my wind bag, dude. All right, here, let me upgrade it for you. You know, there's something fun like that. Okay, so back to what I was trying to work on. That was a great idea, Dirk. Good distraction. Good derailment of the thought process. We need something to explain world puzzles and shrines. So probably, I feel like maybe we have somebody like standing outside of a shrine and they explain to you like, oh yeah, these shrines exist like to kind of honor the gods. We still upkeep them. But they always, because the gods value like ingenuity and strength, they're always some kind of challenge. Ooh, an archaeologist. That's a cool idea. And so maybe it's like they're standing outside and they're like, I can't figure this out, but like, could I watch you figure it out? I just want to like learn about this place. Dude, no, that archaeologist is perfect. Shoot, and that was specifically on the list of there's a giant over here. A giant list of like background context, opening moments, major allies or opposition characters. And there they are. There are the archaeologists. They're in there. That's a great idea. Yeah, we could do religious people too. I like the archaeologist angle because then that kind of like academic curiosity makes sense. And then I feel like maybe for the world puzzles, we could do something slightly different. An old woman who takes care of the gate area since the gods get all sleepy. That's cute. Look, nobody knows for sure what's going on with the gods, you know? Religions might get dismantled. Yeah, so I want there to be a kind of, like maybe religions haven't been dismantled, but they're kind of falling apart. There are a lot of people, like imagine if Christianity was founded when like if Jesus Christ was actually around, actually doing all the cool things that the Bible says he did, which like fucking news alert, he did not walk on water. No person fucking walked on water. But like what if they actually did? What if so many people fucking saw it that they like took pictures of it and shit? Like that kind of thing. Then if Jesus just disappeared one day, then a lot of people would be like, I mean, should we even worship Jesus anymore? Like it used to be when you prayed to Jesus, he would literally just like, boom, here's some fish, here's some food. Now he does nothing. It's like he's gone or he's dead or he's abandoned us. We shouldn't even bother worshiping him. So I want that to be a kind of conflict. So it's like, it's not that they're dismantled, but they're kind of, a lot of people are neglecting them. And so I kind of want the world puzzles to be sort of like a tiny shrine puzzle, right? Like it's like a scale. The world puzzle is just one little thing you do. A shrine is a set of things you do that's like a rising series of challenges. And then a temple is many kinds of challenges that get harder and harder, and they interwork multiple different ideas together. And then that culminates in a boss fight where you have to use all of those ideas. Is the general goal. So then maybe for the world puzzles, they're almost like little tiny shrines. Would need a good term for like a cute little, I don't know, term for a small shrine. A miniature shrine. A pocket shrine. Oh my god. Okay, it doesn't need to actually be portable. The idea is it's just a small thing. All right. We won't worry about a name right now. But then so maybe we'll have people who are like still dedicated to their religion, like sitting outside of one of these little shrine areas, and they're like, oh, that's so sad that like this thing broke. Or like, oh, this thing is missing the like stone that goes on top of it. Where did that go? Where did that get to? Just like one or two of those to give the player the idea that like, oh, that's what's going on. There's a puzzle here. Okay. Otherwise, the player might just assume like, oh, it looks broken on purpose and there's nothing I can do here. Rather than it looks broken on purpose and I can kind of fix it a little bit. So maybe like religious NPCs or other archaeologists. And then like maybe you see them like having a conversation or something. Like that's what I want a lot of in the game, is that like characters are naturally just having a conversation without you, and you can interact with them if you want to or not, like real life. You can just listen to them. Maybe if you get too close to them, they'll look at you and be like, do you have something to say? But if you listen from a distance, you know, they'll just talk, and then you can get that information from them by listening to them, or you can go talk to them, and then they'll be like, isn't it a shame this thing is broken? Oh, it'd be so nice if somebody could fix it. So they'll be commenting on world puzzles and how to solve them. And we'll just say on a few initial world puzzles, right? Because the idea is we want to get the player to understand this, and then we kind of want to back off. And shoot, I'm blocking. There we go. All right, Greg cam and my cam, a little bit in the way. You know, I've been streaming for like 2 fucking years. I'll learn eventually. Okay. So then I think the very last thing, and then we'll wrap up, is we need some kind of quest that explains tools. It explains tools and traversal limitations. I think what I want is for the player to start with a tool. I think an important one will be one that lets you sprint. And I want there to be some kind of extra value added to that. So maybe like some kind of like wind boots. Explain initial tool from the person who gives it to you, and maybe that'll be like the headmaster. Like maybe the headmaster hears that you're being sent up to the first town to get some stuff, and then he'll be like, hey, like, you know, we have these cool boots that'll make you run quick. We have some in your size. Here you go. My initial thought was that these boots would be like lightning, like electricity themed. And so they could help the player run quickly, but also the player could use them to like activate like electrical circuits or something. But that might be like an upgraded version. But yeah, I think we want the initial tool to be like boots. And so then maybe we'll have spots where there's like high wind that the player has to run through. And that will kind of give the player the idea that like there are certain places that you can only traverse with the right tools. Show the player spots with high wind and an NPC commenting about how they can't traverse the area. To teach the player that they can use their boots to get somewhere that they couldn't get to otherwise. Yeah, it's just a big long run-on sentence, but that's fine. It conveys the idea. Yeah. Okay, and then we might, we'll probably end up with other tools, but I think that's going to be something to think about like quest-wise and puzzle-wise. Like once I start working on the actual puzzles that'll be in here, then we'll start figuring out like maybe we need a different kind of tool, and we'll figure out how to give it to the player. Maybe it'll be a reward for completing the temple. Maybe it'll be a reward that you get early on so that you can get into the temple. I don't know. I'll have to think about the flow of the game. But yeah, we'll do that next time. And then we're gonna keep working down this list, and like actually let's take this and can I just paste? Great. Okay, cool. So now these things can be part of a separate box so that we don't just extend down into infinity and take over other what are you? Frames? Other frames. They're called frames. Okay, cool. So that's gonna do it for today. My abdomen is a little bit uncomfortable, so we're gonna just chill out, end a little early. I will be back tomorrow to do coding. We're gonna keep working on Radicate and his everlasting quest to be able to hunt down berry bushes. We're getting there. We're so close. We're so close. And then we can just copy the functionality to like 1 million creatures. It's going to be great. We're going to have an island full of creatures, some of them eating fruit, some of them eating berries, and then we'll start working on some of them trying to eat each other. I am absolutely distracted. Greg has a weird little like spit bubble. And she's like opening and closing her mouth, or she was, and the spit bubble was like throbbing. Very strange. Okay. Anyway, I don't know. Have a nice day. Dirk, you're still here? Oh my God. Well, okay, Dirk, have a nice day, and also everybody else have a nice day. But like, go do whatever you had to do, or if it's done, then congratulations. I'm happy you didn't have to go do it, or that you did it quickly. Whatever the case. Thank you for hanging out. I'll see y'all around. Have a good one.